Now, acclaimed authority on miracles, Bob Tralens tells us one of the many documented stories he has compiled in his career.
The man was a counselor at a camp in North Carolina. And he told me the story about a little boy named Eddie DeWitt. He's 12 years old. At the camp, while all the kids would get up every morning at 6 o'clock, at 7 o'clock, little Eddie DeWitt was still in the bunk. And the kids figured they'd pull a joke on him. The kids put a firecracker under his bunk and ran. It exploded, but Eddie didn't jump out of bed. He didn't wake up, and all the kids tried to wake him up, and he was still sleeping, so they were frightened. They thought maybe Eddie had gotten killed by the firecracker.
I think he's dead.
The counselor came over, and when the counselor shook him, they found the kid appeared to be in a coma.
Why don't you go get the doctor? Okay.
So they sent for the camp doctor.
Hey, Doc.
Doctor examined him, and while he was examining the boy, he said he noticed that when he lifted his eyelids that there was a rapid eye movement, that the boy was not unconscious. He seemed to be in some form of a trance, as if he was dreaming. He never saw anything like this. And then all of a sudden, Eddie started to wake up.
Trance. Hey, buddy. You all right? What's happening?
And he sat up and he looked at it around, and so I was just dreaming about my grandma. My grandma, how is my grandma? Then he started to tell him, he said, I was dreaming that I was there at my grandma's house. I was there because I smelled smoke. I don't know how I got there, but I know there was smoke. And I went up to the door and started banging and knocking on the door.
Grandma? Grandma?
Eddie, what are you doing here?
Grandma! Grandma, get down here! Get out of the house now!
Suddenly his grandma was opening the door and they were walking away, and now he woke up.
It was so real.
Don't worry. It's just a bad dream.
Eddie DeWitt, phone call in the counselor's office. Eddie DeWitt, phone call in the counselor's office.
Eddie, come on in. It's a call from your grandmother.
Mother? Hello?
Eddie, is that you?
This is Grandma.
Yeah. Well, I was just calling to see if you were still at camp.
There was fire in the kitchen this morning. Are you okay?
Yeah, everything's okay.
But the weirdest thing happened. You were here.
Grandma? Grandma?
Eddie, what are you doing here?
Grandma, get down here! Get out of the house now!
She looked out of the window, saw it was Eddie, rushed downstairs, and could hardly get to the door because there were flames coming from the kitchen.
Oh, my.
She opened the door and went out, and Eddie grabbed her by the hand and they went down the street.
How did you get here?
And then she turned around and Eddie was gone. The lady was so alarmed and she couldn't believe that this didn't happen.
You knocked on the door and saved my life.
And only when Eddie got on the phone and talked to her did she believe that there he was in North Carolina, 600 miles away from their home in Pennsylvania.
My grandma said that there was a fire at her house.
I talked to the counselor and I also talked to the physician. The boy's story checked out. They were all there when this happened, so they know it really happened.
I had that same dream this morning.
As to how he did this and what power enabled him to teleport himself over 600 miles to save his grandmother? No one knows.
Many of us often wish we could be in two places at one time. But for one 14-year-old boy, the wish became a reality and a strange dream.